When you stop worrying, everything starts to go well. Michel de Montaigne. Most people live in a state of constant tension, not because life is truly unbearable, but because their minds refuse to let go. They cling, they anticipate, they try to control what's never been theirs to control. And in doing so, they poison the present. But here's the twist. When you finally stop trying to control everything, things begin to flow. Reality, strange as it sounds, becomes more cooperative. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Michel de Montaigne, the 16th century philosopher, once suggested that our fears about the future do far more damage than the future itself. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Worry isn't preparation, it's paralysis. It drains your spirit, distracts your focus, and kills your ability to respond with clarity. The truth is, most of what we fear never even happens, and the little that does, you're far more capable of facing it than you think. There's a strange kind of power in surrender, not the weak kind, but the courageous kind. The type of surrender that says, "I've done what I can. Now I let the rest unfold." This isn't laziness, it's wisdom. Because when you stop obsessing, you start observing. You actually begin to see what's happening instead of what you're afraid might happen. And in that space of awareness, solutions emerge. You realize, most of your tension wasn't coming from the world. It was coming from your resistance to it. You were swimming upstream, chasing certainty in a world that only offers probability. But when you drop the need to be sure to always be right, to always win, you become lighter, freer. You start acting instead of reacting. And just like that, life starts responding differently to you. You've probably noticed this before. The moment you stop clinging, things start working. That relationship you obsessed over, it starts to breathe the moment you stop needing it. That opportunity you chased desperately, it finds you the second you stop forcing it. Why? Because desperation repels, stillness attracts. Montaigne understood this centuries ago. The mind that's calm is the mind that wins. This doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming purposeful. Worry is noise. Stillness is signal. When you're not clouded by panic, you see things clearly. You notice the door you missed before. You hear the answer that was drowned out by anxiety. And more importantly, you begin to act from a place of strength, not fear. That's when real momentum starts. Not because you pushed harder, but because you pushed smarter. There's a shift that happens when you stop being afraid of uncertainty. You stop looking for guarantees and start looking for growth. You stop demanding perfection and start embracing process. And suddenly, failure loses its sting. Setbacks stop feeling personal. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But instead, "What is this teaching me?" That's the edge Montaigne spoke of, not in loud victories, but in quiet resilience, in not needing the world to go your way to feel at peace, in trusting yourself to handle whatever comes. That's real freedom. And from that freedom comes clarity, direction, confidence. You become the kind of person who doesn't need everything to be perfect, because you've become someone who can handle anything. There's a power in no longer needing to control the outcome. The moment you surrender your obsession with results, your focus returns to the only thing you can truly shape: your input, your thoughts, your effort, your discipline, the world may still be chaotic. But you become anchored, centered. You stop swinging between highs and lows because your peace isn't based on what happens. It's based on how you respond. Montaigne would argue, the wise man is not the one who knows the most, but the one who fears the least. That kind of strength doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from facing discomfort and staying grounded anyway, from waking up, showing up, and doing your part. Even when the world doesn't clap, especially then. The truth is, most of what you fear won't happen. And even if it does, it won't destroy you unless you let it. Worry is a poor use of imagination. It turns your mind into a prison, locking you inside problems that haven't even happened. But once you realize this, something radical happens. You begin to detach, not from life, but from the illusion of control. You become fluid, adaptable. Instead of fighting the current, you learn to move with it. You bend, but don't break. You feel deeply, but don't drown. And in that flexibility, you become unshakable. Because nothing holds more power than the person who has let go of needing power. You begin to realize that calm isn't the absence of struggle, it's the mastery of it. You stop needing everything to make sense. You stop demanding that life obey your plans. Instead, you focus on becoming the kind of person who thrives regardless of the plan. Montaigne believed that peace is not found in the world, but in the way you walk through it. And so, your posture changes. You sit with uncertainty. You speak with intention. You move through the day as if you already belong, because you do. Not because the world said so, but because you've chosen to believe it. And as that belief grows, worry withers, because worry was never truth. It was just noise. A story you kept repeating, hoping it would protect you. But you don't need protection now. You need presence. And here's the final paradox. When you stop obsessing over success, it begins to find you. Not because you're lucky, but because you're no longer repelling it with desperation. You become magnetic in your calm. People trust your presence. Opportunities meet your momentum. And even when things don't go your way, you're no longer undone. Because now, your identity isn't tied to outcomes. It's anchored in process. This is what Montaigne tried to teach. Life isn't something to conquer. It's something to understand. Something to live with curiosity, not fear. And once you stop trying to escape the unknown, you begin to see it for what it really is. A gateway, not to comfort, but to growth. And suddenly, everything starts to go well.